at the dark.
Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, this is Will the Dragon Whisperer. This is my beautiful girl Athena, my Hypo Zero Leatherback Bearded Dragon, and this is another video for the channel. Now I apologize you guys, it's going to be a little bit of a long introduction, but you don't want to miss everything I'm going to say in the next couple of minutes. We've got some big announcements. Now I put out a poll on the channel, and by popular demand and request, you guys wanted to see a video on taming down aggressive bearded dragons and big lizards. So that's what we're going to focus on the video. Ramseys has been kind of riled up lately, so going through shed and some other things. So I'm going to have a great opportunity to show you guys exactly how to handle a big aggressive bearded dragon without getting bit, and multiple techniques on how to help tame them down and calm them and get them docile again. Also, giveaway. You guys, we just hit 1,000 subscribers on the channel. Like, long time coming. I cannot put into words how much I appreciate everybody who has made this possible. And so I'm going through the process now of getting the channel monetized. A lot of my videos have copyright strikes. A lot of it because of the karaoke and the dancing I did in my earlier videos. So I'm going to be having to clip a lot of that out and replace a lot of that. So that process is going to take a little while. But the channel's monetized. We're at 1,000 subscribers. We're going to be doing the giveaway. Now, I'm going to show you guys later in the video. You're going to have 3 options of what you can get in the giveaway. And another big announcement is we are going to start doing a Sunday evening at 7 p.m. every week, a Beginners Reptile Keepers podcast. Lately, I have run into some issues when trying to get some information from people that are kind of big in the industry. I'm lucky that I have some really big names I can reach out to, but sometimes I realize that these guys have a lot going on, and sometimes it can be a hassle to them to have to answer all these questions. And also, when you're a beginner keeper, it can be intimidating to get into some of these podcasts or forums with some of these big time people, and they start talking about all these complex genetics or complex physiological problems that these animals have, and it gets over your head, and then you become intimidated to ask a beginner keeper question in that forum that you feel like is for experts. So we're going to start doing this every Sunday. We're going to have an open forum. People in the chat can ask questions. If you want to, chime in the chat to help answer questions. I'm not going to hopefully be the sole, source of information here. If there's something that I don't know and people in the chat don't know, we're going to Google it. I'm going to have the laptop ready. We're going to look at multiple sources. And if there's information out there about maybe a new species that no one really knows about, maybe as a group we can help come up with a consensus on how to answer some of these questions. But this is going to be for beginners and for research and help learning, and no dumb questions. Literally no dumb questions are going to be on this forum. Whatever you want to know, I don't care if it's the basking temperature for a bearded dragon that you could easily find out. If you want to know, come to this forum, and it's going to be for beginners and beginner questions and understanding the beginning husbandry problems and questions of some of these animals. So hope you guys will smash that like button, ring the notification bell, stay tuned for the rest of the video so you'll see what the giveaway is going to be and when we're going to do that. We are going to do the giveaway Sunday during the podcast, so you're going to have to be tuned in Sunday during the live stream and actually be in the chat to be eligible, and that is when I'm going to pick who is going to be the recipient of the first giveaway for this channel. So you guys stay tuned. Hope you love the video. We're going to get into taming this big guy down and showing you how to handle him when he's being grumpy. So let's hit the road.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Okay, you guys. Now here is Ramses, and he is in his big 4x2x2 enclosure. And like I said, he's been quite the grumpy gentleman lately because he's going into shed on some of his back legs and some of his back too. It's probably hard for you guys to tell, but I can tell up close because I know how vibrant he normally is. And let me just preface this by saying you should never intentionally antagonize your animals or lizards. I'm doing this for educational purposes, you guys, and so definitely I do not want to get beat up in the comments, and I don't want people to think that I'm intentionally trying to stress out my animal. This is just to teach you guys and show you guys. So normally Ramseys really doesn't mind beard rubbing or any kind of petting or interaction when he's outside of his enclosure. But when he's going in the shed, and sometimes lately he's been what I call tank aggressive, or aggressive in his tank. Now see, he immediately starts to take a defensive posture, and you'll see right there, he's already flaring out, and there he's going into fight or flight mode. And if you guys can see, I don't know how good you can make it out on camera there, but he's already starting to, you know, open his mouth. Beard's all puffed up. And he's thinking about taking a shot at me there. But one of the ways that you can always pick up your bearded dragon if they're being aggressive, just trying to get around to get a better angle on them. But bearded dragons cannot drop their tails. So, like I said, this is not the way you want to normally pick up your bearded dragon. This is only when you're dealing with an aggressive big guy like him. And you see, he is ready to bite right there. Like, he would love to take a bite out of crime. And so what you can do is just grab him by the base of the tail, right behind the legs. He is ready to give me a bite. I mean, he is so ready to give me a bite. He feels cornered right there. I'm really stressing him out. That's not what you want at all in your bearded dragon. I'll try to get him back. So the technique that you can use when they're acting like this is you just want to get them by the tail. They cannot drop their tail. So you want to grab them by the tail, and then you want to go underneath the body until you're here. And now, if you have your hands, work them up, and so you're underneath, right beside of his front legs right there. And see how bad he wants to bite right now. He's all puffed up, mouth open, but he can't get to me when I have him like this. I was able to pick him up by the tail, move my hand up under from the rear, and then place him in this type of a hold. Now, he's still mad, and he's still very aggressive, but he can't get me like that. He can scratch me, but he's not going to be able to bite me. And then we'll move on from this procedure on into some other ways to working with him. I'm actually going to put him back down and pick him up again, just so you guys can see how I did that. So we're going to let him go. He's right into flight or fight mode, but I'm going to reach back in there, grab him by the tail, hand up underneath the body until I got him in front of his front legs. And you can see how aggressive and wound up he is, but I was in no position whatsoever to take a bite. And there's no way he can get at me right now. We're going to get you calmed down, buddy. That's my big boy Ramsey's big, beautiful citrus blue bar. Okay, you guys, now it's time for that giveaway announcement for the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Your first option is going to be a hatchling albino ball python. This is Aurora. She's super gravid. As you can see, she's been paired with Thor, so that is going to be your first option. Should you win the giveaway, it will be an albino ball python hatchling from Aurora and Thor. Now, your second option, if you win, is going to be a crested gecko hatchling. There are actually two that you can choose from that were produced by this beautiful stud, Irwin, who is a gorgeous tricolor, and he was paired with Sansa, which is this gorgeous, beautiful harlequin. She's fired down right now, so it's hard to tell, but she is a cream and lavender harlequin. So this is Sansa's probably 20th clutch. She's been a great producer, but this is Irwin's first clutch, so this is the first eggs ever produced by this pairing, and you can choose between the two that they produced. One actually hatched out today. I'm going to show that right now in the video, and I'm also going to show you a still shot of that one that hatched out today. Beautiful chocolate with some highlights on it. So you can choose option A, the ball python python albino hatchling. Option B, one of the 2 crested gecko hatchlings, or a $100 Chewy or PetSmart gift card. So that's your 3 options. The giveaway Sunday, 7 o'clock, have to be in the live stream, and I will be drawing names from whoever is in the live stream. Okay, so one of the second things I'm going to show you guys, one of the techniques you can use to help tame down an aggressive bearded dragon or lizard. These animals mostly have a one-track mind, so one way you can get their mind out of that defensive mode is with food. Obviously, it's a big motivator, a big thing to use to control behavior. And just like Kevin McCurley says, really, he's the person that I get most of my information when it comes to working with dominant or aggressive animals. Is you have to create threads of trust, small threads at a time, and those threads over time will weave themselves together, and will improve your relationship with your animal. And one of the best things is to get them into feeding mode, and then it gets them out of that defensive mode a lot of times. So what I'm going to do with Ramses here is I'm going to offer him some super worms, and once he sees there's food, and it's food instead of me trying to handle him, then he's going to go into food mode. And see, he knows it's all about food now. And he's still kind of got a little bit of a defensive posture, but he knows that there's food now. And so what I'm going to do is start luring him out closer to me with every super worm. And we're going to try to eventually get him out of here. He's right here at my hand now. See, now he's actually standing on my hand right now. Come on. That's my pretty boy. See, now that he's in food mode right now, he's allowing me to pet him. Miss, buddy. There you go. See? Now that he's in food mode, he's actually allowing me to pet the back of his neck. He's allowing me to stroke his back. It's like a completely different guy. Once you kind of break them out of that defensive mode, then you can touch him and keep him from becoming aggravated and getting back into that mode. One of the best ways to bond with your dragon once you get that trust build up is to actually hand feed your dragon instead of tongs. And you can see here that I hand feed him a super worm even though he was just trying to bite me minutes earlier. Now, I used the same technique that I used earlier to get Ramses out of the tank, but because I've already been working with him some, he's already calmed down a lot. And, you know, you guys, there are no aggressive bearded dragons. Bearded dragons get aggressive when they're not handled and when you don't spend time with them. I mean, they are wild animals. They've been captive bred for generations and kept as pets for a long time, but they're still wild animals. They're not domesticated, in my opinion, by any means. So if you have a bearded dragon and you don't handle them for weeks at a time, you just throw some feeders in there or some salad in there, then they can become aggressive. And these techniques are what you can use to get them back, because after you follow these techniques that I'm showing you for a week or two, bearded dragons are super smart. Their behavior can be modified super quick, and they'll get right back into their docile old self where you can just reach in the tank and grab them. You don't have to worry about that defensive or aggressive behavior. So you can already tell he's calmed down a lot, but this is a super cool technique. I learned this from Lord of Lion. When you try to go at an aggressive bearded dragon when they're in their tank, they're going to go into flight or fight mode. So most of the time it's going to be flight first until you corner them, and then it's going to go to fight. But sometimes it's going to be straight fight from the get-go, and they're not going to try to go into flight mode. But The cool thing about this bath technique is it takes away the fight. They only have flight, and so they oftentimes they're looking for an escape, and then you are the one that provides that safe haven for them. And this technique works really well. When I first got Ramseys, he was a rescue. His former owners never handled him. He was super aggressive, black beard, flattened out pancake, super mean every time I tried to handle him. And this was the technique that within 3 or 4 days, I had him on my shoulder going to Lowe's, and he was riding around the car with me, and we were best buddies. So this technique works really well. All you want to do is just, a couple inches of water. I use between 90 and 95 degrees. This water is about 92 degrees. And a lot of times when you put them in there, after a few minutes, they're not going to want to be in the water. And so if you provide them with your hand or your arm as the only means of egress out of that water, then a lot of times that's what they're going to do. So with Ramseys and sometimes adult dragons, you may have to leave them in there for a little while. But once they decide they want to get out of that water, or they don't like that bath anymore, then when they realize they can't get out of this tub without assistance, you want something big enough they can't climb out of. Once they realize that you're the only way they're getting out of there, then you can place your hand down in the tank, and they're going to climb right up you to get out of the water. And see, Ramseys he's so much more calm than he was because I've been working with him. He'll let me stroke his beard, and a lot of times the bath will calm them down as well. It's a really good kind of like a spa type treatment. They really enjoy the hydration more than people think. You should definitely be bathing your dragon at least once a week, but I wish he was still being as aggressive as he was earlier, but he's already calmed down a lot. And like this video, I'm filming this all in like an hour's time span. This is not a week later from the footage you saw earlier in the video. This is not 2 days later. This is literally him. I mean, I filmed all this one of these techniques after the next. I have not given him time to calm down or adjust. This is just from me working with him the last hour or two. You saw how aggressive he was when I first approached him earlier in the video. So he's calmed down a lot, and we're going to go ahead and see if he wants to get out of the water. And he'll climb right up on Daddy. And see, now at this point, this is a dragon that wanted to bite me a few hours earlier, and now I know I can put him up on my shoulder. He's going to head bob the female that's in the tank behind me. So that's also going to take his attention, so he's not worried about me. And he is soaking wet, so he's getting my shirt soaking wet right now. But at this point, I know I don't have to worry about him being aggressive. He's kind of back to his old self. I mean, this is the same dragon you guys saw an hour ago. I mean, Adam from Wiccan's Wicked Reptiles talks about Diamond biting his ear all the time. I hold Ramseys all the time. He's never tried to bite my ear. But he definitely wants to get at Athena right now, who's in the tank behind me, who's definitely about ready to breed. And so Ramseys is all about the females. But the bath technique works a lot. It works good. I wish he was in that mode right now where he really wanted to get out of the bath, but he's enjoying it too much. But if you put him in there, once they go into that flight mode and they start scampering all around and they really want to get out of that bath, if you put your arm down in the water like this, like a bridge, oftentimes they're going to climb right up your arm because they want to get out of the water. Especially once the water's cooled down a little bit, they're not going to want to be in there. Definitely make sure your water is no cooler than 85 degrees. Especially they're coming out of their basking spot that's 100 degrees. You don't want to drop them in a 70-degree tub of water. That'd be like you being in your hot shower and somebody cutting all the hot water off, and all of a sudden ice cold water just hits you. You don't want to do that to your dragon. So make sure your water is at least 85. But once it cools down gradually, and it's like not that initial shock of just putting them straight in the cold water, once it starts to cool down in the 70s, they're definitely going to want to get out, and that's a great time. Put your arm down in there, give them that little bridge to safety, and those guys are going to climb right out on you. And once they get up on your arm, and they decide they want to climb out, you get them to this point. They may want to go on up onto your shoulder, but usually once you get them to that point, the fight is out of them. They're just into flight mode, and then once they feel secure, it's a good time for you to get some of that interaction. I really like Kevin McCurley does this a lot, stroking the tail. But like he also says, no thing is sacred. You need to be able to stroke your bearded dragon's beard. You need to be able to stroke the top of his head. And oftentimes when my guys are nice and calm, they'll give me a little kiss. Ramsey's gonna give me a kiss. But you guys can see he's calmed down immensely from earlier, just with the bath, the feeding, and actually picking him up and getting him out of the enclosure, even though he was still in an aggressive state. Just having him in my hands and him knowing I'm not going to hurt him. They really can snap out of that mode really quick. You can't let it intimidate you. If they see that behavior's working and that you're afraid to interact with them when they do that, then they're just going to keep doing it. When they know it's working and getting them what they want, they're smart enough to know to repeat the behavior. So don't back down from your dragon if they are being that way. You want to get that behavior out of them right away, or it's just going to get worse. So you're a big, pretty boy. We're going to get him back in his tank, get him dry and get him warm. And I hope this video will help you guys, work with your bearded dragons if they get aggressive, or other lizards that are big and can be intimidating to handle when they're getting aggressive. Use the food, use the bath, and lizards that can't drop their tail, don't be afraid to grab them from the tail and come at them from underneath. You'll see Keenan from Camp Keenan. He handles a lot of his big monitors like that. Once you come up from underneath, they can't bend down and bite you. And once you can get your hands in front of the front arms and beside the neck, and then you have your other hand holding the back legs or the tail, in this position, even a big monitor lizard, if you maintain your grip, is not going to hurt you. And another really cool technique is to put them up high. I don't know if I'm going to get out of frame here, but a lot of animals feel safe when they're up high and they can see down over top of things. They feel threatened when prey looks down over top of them. That's how they're often killed or captured by prey in the wild. So when they're up high, that's a great way to get them to calm down. If you start seeing aggression, to kind of put them up high, and oftentimes that'll get it out of them. So I hope this video helped you guys, and you guys can use some of these techniques. All right, you guys, once again, this is Will the Dragon Whisperer. This is Athena. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Don't forget to tune in this Sunday and every Sunday moving forward, 7 p.m. for the Beginner Reptile Keeper and Beginner Hobbyist podcast. And I'm going to be working with the thumbnail for that this week, you guys. And it's going to be my first time actually live streaming on YouTube instead of StreamYard. So if you guys see the thumbnail change or see me happen to go live on accident in the next couple of days while I'm working out the kinks, just know that the real podcast will be Sunday, 7 p.m., Beginner Keepers Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Smash that like button, ring that notification bell, hit me up on Instagram or here in the comments if you have any care questions about your animals that I will try my best to answer. Thank you guys so much. It's so exciting to be at 1,000 subscribers. I'm the Dragon Whisperer, and I'm out.